All right, y'all, so as you guys read by the title, here's the video that I mentioned in my vlog. This is going to be the video on my thoughts on the 24-25 season. I'm actually getting ready to grub before I go to work here. But before this video starts, if you guys could do me a favor and go down to the comment section real quick. I pinned a comment that I made asking you guys to give me some video suggestions for the summer. If you guys have not seen my last vlog, I mentioned that I will not be doing any more vlogs this summer. I'm going to be taking sort of like a mini break, but I don't want to leave the channel vacant all summer because then like some people are going to unsubscribe, and it's not that I don't care about that. It's like I don't want people missing what I'm going to be doing next year, because next year I'm going to be amping some stuff up. So if you guys could go ahead and run down to that comment section and give me some video suggestions that you guys might want to see this summer, I will be definitely taking a look at those. Some like examples maybe, if you guys want to see like my Hershey Bears collection, like my memorabilia, my jerseys and stuff. If you guys want to see something like that, I'm definitely going to be making some compilation videos of my favorite moments this year, like I did last year for that. Just anything remotely close to that, like a Q&A video. If you guys want to see a Q&A video, something, anything like that, anything that has to do with, you know, the Bears or hockey or me in general or my future goals or whatever, just anything. If you guys want to see a video like that, put it in the comments under that in the reply section under that comment, and I'll definitely be looking at all those. So thank you. Now so we're gonna go ahead and just get right into the video here. These are my thoughts here on the 24-25 season. I know a lot of people are having some negative opinions about the season. They're calling it an absolute failure of a year, and they're calling it just nowhere near as good as what it was last year. And I agree partially on that. This season definitely was nowhere near as good as last year, but there is most definitely a reason for that. Last year was probably one of the most legendary and dominant AHL teams to ever exist. And what I mean by that is this team was very comparable to how the 2010 Hershey Bears team was 15 years ago, I guess now. They are very comparable to that team, and that team is arguably the greatest American Hockey League team to ever exist. They won back-to-back Calder Cups in 2009 and 2010. So last year's team was very comparable to that. Now, how often will that team happen? Obviously, it's not very often. And I think I had a feeling that this year's team was not going to be as good. If you guys are wondering what I'm eating, it's a grilled cheese from Panera. I wanted a grilled cheese sandwich really bad. But if you guys are wondering how often that happens, it's not very often. That team had over a 700-point percentage last year. At least I think it was somewhere around that. That doesn't happen very often. This grilled cheese slaps harder than my grandma used to backhand me. But as you guys can tell, that doesn't happen very often. And obviously, this year's season was nowhere near as good as it was last year. And that's why I was saying this season was an absolute failure, because it wasn't. A lot of people are saying just because we didn't win a Stanley Cup, or just because we didn't win a Calder Cup makes it a failure of a season. Now, as an organization, maybe it's because we do have 13 Calder Cups, and the closest team that is still around is Chicago. I think they only have 3 or 4.
I just wanted to say my bad to you Rochester fans. I totally forgot you guys had 6 cups, so no, it was Rochester second. But anyways, back to the video.
So nobody has as many championships as we do. But my opinion, that doesn't make our season a complete bust and a complete failure. Now, as we all know, we made the Calder Cup playoffs. Now, in my opinion, I hate the new bracket because I feel like it's not a challenge to make the Calder Cup playoffs anymore, which I feel like making the playoffs should be hard. They used to have 16 teams make the playoffs. Now it's like 23 or 24 or something like that. It's not hard to make the playoffs anymore. It's definitely at least over 2/3 of the league that make the playoffs now. So normally I would say that we made the playoffs. That's big because a lot of teams don't make it, but obviously more teams make the playoffs than ones that don't. But the thing is, we had an Atlantic Division title this year. Only 4 teams win division titles every single year. And this time we won it again. We won it last year and we won it this year. So, in my opinion, that makes the regular season a success because not many teams get to do that. Playoffs-wise, I don't know. Sure, we advanced at least one round. We got a bye in the first round. But playoffs-wise, I feel like we could have done a lot better. And I mentioned to you guys in my vlog of some things that I could have pointed out that may have worked a lot better. And it's going to sound stupid, but it really is true. A lot of people point it out, especially on Facebook. The power play is way too passive. And this was especially true in the regular season as well at times, because the power play, in my opinion, is supposed to be a chaos moment for the team that has the man advantage. At least that's how, in my opinion, it should be a chaos moment. It really should. It should be cycling the puck, moving the players around, and finding shot lanes all over the ice. They shouldn't just come backdoor, tip in front. Like it's kind of what Hershey does. They look for those perfect backdoor opportunities, and this was something that they did last year too, and they also did it in the 22-23 season as well. It's just a system that for some reason Hershey likes to stick with. I don't really know why. But if you guys notice, good power play teams will shoot the puck from all over the place. My favorite example is to use my favorite NHL team, the Dallas Stars. Their power play is absolutely unbelievably good. If you guys saw what they did in Game 1 against Edmonton, they scored 3 power play goals in 5 minutes I can't count. In 5 minutes in Game 1 against Edmonton. And it was because they were shooting the pucks from all angles. And Hershey tries to look for those super close proximity backdoor passes, which is something that it works, but teams will quickly figure out how to do it. And Cleveland did an amazing job doing it last year. They became super aggressive on the penalty kill, and they were shutting Hershey's power play opportunities down after Game 3 when they had 2. Hershey didn't have very many power play goals after that. They probably had 1 or 2. They had that big one in Game 7, but again, that wasn't a backdoor chance. Pierre Dubé fired that from the top of the circles. And that's something that Hershey didn't do during this playoff run on the power play. So that's the one suggestion / fix that Hershey, I feel like, has got to change next year. They have to stop being so passive on the power play next year. Now, I shared my positive. I shared my feedback / suggestions for next year. Now I got to share my negative. I'm going to be brutally honest. I don't think our team is in very good shape anymore. I do think our team is a little bit vetted up too much, and what I mean by that is we have more older talent than we do have younger talent. If you guys look throughout the roster, most of our guys on the team are above the age 25. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, but the whole point of the American Hockey League is to develop prospects, to develop players, to build their skill sets stronger so they can have an easier time playing in the NHL. And when you have guys that are battling, adversity, 25, 26 years old, still trying to find their spot in the NHL, they're not really going to be seen as prospects anymore. So, obviously, we have a true vet core on our team. We have Garrett Rowe. Well, we had Garrett Rowe, Mike Vecchione, Mike Scarbosa. Those guys are seen as AHL guys, and they're served to be mentors and helpers towards the young guys trying to find themselves as hockey players. But I feel like we have a little bit too much of it. If you guys notice, the only real young guys that we have on our team this year was Miro. John McDonald was young. Gucciardi was young. Chesley was young. But all those guys came in super late. But the core guys like Rabinski, Trenev, all those guys, they're super young. But if you guys look at our top lines, like Limoges, he's a little bit older. Vecchione's older. Defensive wide, Prisky's a little bit older. Ness is a little bit older. We almost have too much veteran talent on our team. And sometimes the team can be a little bit off balance because the teams that are actually really, really good have a perfect mix, And I feel like last year's team was that perfect mix of young talent versus veteran talent, So my one negative is I think we signed a little bit too many veterans over the offseason. I don't think Brad Hunt was really a necessary signing. Dalton Smith, I'm up in the air about him. I like Dalton Smith because he's a good resemblance of what Dylan McElrath was. But Brennan Saunier, I don't think he was really a necessary signing. And a couple of the other veterans that we signed that weren't really that big of a deal. I wish we signed a little bit more of younger talent. That's my one negative. I think we had a little bit too much veteran talent this year, which is why our team seemed a little bit slower in some games. And why we couldn't in my opinion, it's why we couldn't keep up with Charlotte. Charlotte was by far a faster, younger team they had the perfect balance of young and veteran talent, that our team was leaning way too much towards veteran talent, which is why they ended up beating us so easily in that best of 5 series. Now next year, again, I know I mentioned it in my vlog, I'm not really too sure how the team's going to look next year. I do believe that we're not going to be necessarily cleaning house, but we are definitely going to be we're definitely not going to be signing a whole lot of old like guys that were on our team this year. Like I know a lot of guys, their contracts expire, and I don't think they're going to be getting re-signed because this team didn't do it this year. And I know I said the expectation every year for the Bears is usually to win a Calder Cup, but that doesn't mean the season was necessarily a failure, because I do think it was a success. But in Hershey's standards, it's definitely not what they want. You know, the goal is to win a Calder Cup every single year, and this year they failed. But I do think they are going to be cleaning out house just a little bit. They're not going to be signing all the same guys this year. I do think our team is going to be very new looking next year. Very new looking. But I am super excited to see all the new young talent that's going to be coming in. And I hope you guys are going to be excited for it too. But anyways, I think that's it for this video. I wanted to keep it somewhat short for you guys, just so I didn't bore the hell out of you. But if you guys have any other video suggestions, again, please put them underneath that comment that I left in the comment section for you guys. I definitely will be checking it very regularly. And also, let me know what your guys' thoughts on the season were. I'd love to hear them. That's one of my favorite things, going through the comments on my vlogs, is reading what your guys' opinions about the game were. That's one of my favorite things to look for. In this video, I would love to hear your guys' opinions on what you guys thought about the season. And I'll probably respond. Like you guys know, I respond to probably about 90% of my comments here on YouTube. I will most definitely be responding to a lot of them. But anyways, that's going to be it for this video. NHL 25 game dropping tomorrow. I will be live streaming tonight for the Stars and Oilers game 2. I will be a little bit later. I think I'll probably be live around like maybe 9:30. So I'll probably be live like halfway through the game. There will be a live tonight. And yeah, so I think this is probably the last time you guys will see my face for a little bit. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your summer. Enjoy the off season, and I'll see you guys hopefully in October for another hockey season. See you guys.